How's it going, everybody? It is Vigil. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle here versus Konan in the OU tier. So if you do enjoy these, make sure to leave a like on it, and the team I'm using is in the description if you want to try it out. Made by CTC. So, gonna lead off with Tapu Fini. I felt like it led up well versus Konan's team, as a lot of Pokemon don't appreciate a water or fairy move, but unfortunately leads off with the Manaphy, which is totally fine at the same time because I do have Ferrothorn, but just in case if this Manaphy does have Hidden Power Fire, that could be a problem. Most of them don't though. That's why it's kind of like a little unfortunate. I don't know what kind of Manaphy this is, especially if it's going to be like Icy MZ. But luckily, it just goes for the Ice Beam. I take that like a champ because Ferrothorn is a special defensive monster, and I go for the Power Whip, but unfortunately, Manaphy takes that. So, the other Pokemon that could have been a bad lead was Shaman, but I do have Tornadus for a Shaman check, so I go for another Power Whip as I want to try and knock out Manaphy, and Konan just switches into the Infernape. Don't really know too much about this Infernape, so I'm just going to switch into Fini, kind of play it safe. Infernape does learn Gunk Shot. It could be even Grass Knot as well, but Grass Knot, I should be able to take that. But just goes for the U-turn, so I'm thinking maybe it's like Scarf. Don't really know what Infernape would want to run in the U-tier. I would guess it would be a Breaker, but maybe Konan is just running Scarf. Brought in the Shaman, and obviously I don't want to take a Seed Flare, so I'm going to go into my Tornadus, and Tornadus should be able to take this pretty nicely. That did a decent chunk, not going to lie, because that is Life Orb Shaman, and Seed Flare does have a very high base power. It's 120, so Tornadus is offensive as well. The one I'm using, it's Flying EMZ with Focus Blast, Knockoff, and Defog, so I'm a Defogger on the team. Since Tapu Fini could be Defog as well, but Taunt is really nice, especially for a stall matchup with Nature's Madness. So go for the Focus Blast, as in comes Licky, and I knock off its leftovers, which is really nice. And I kind of know what Licky does. Maybe it could catch other people off guard, but since I use it a lot in my draft league and then GDL, I already know it's like a Wish, especially defensive kind of Pokemon, and Heal Bell and stuff like that. And you can't taunt it as well because of its ability Oblivious. So I went for Focus Blast, and then I predicted to go for Protect, so I went to Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn can get up the rocks, so that's really good, you know, chip away at Konan's team. And then I could also get Leech Seed off, and I'm pretty sure that Licky doesn't have a move that can really scare out Ferrothorn. I mean, it does in its move pool, but I doubt it's going to run it. And it's probably just Seismic Toss. That's what I usually ran as well with Licky, and Blacephalon can kind of just wall the crap out of it and just go for fire moves and, you know, continuously spam that against Licky. So he tried to Wish up that Manaphy, but it's not going to do pretty. I mean, Manaphy is not going to like stay in on Ferrothorn, so it doesn't really change much. I could just stay in. Licky comes back out, goes for another Wish, so Licky's just wishing everything back. I'm just going to go for another Leech Seed. I mean, no real reason to switch out. Especially since Licky does have really good HP. Leech Seed will recover a lot for my Ferrothorn if he tries to damage me. So I'm just going to see what his last move is, just in case. Maybe it's an Earthquake or something, you never know. Blacephalon doesn't want to switch into that. Finally reveals it as it goes for Seismic Toss. I just go for a knockoff, just a little bit of chip. And now that I know it's going to be Seismic Toss, I can pretty freely bring in Blacephalon and hopefully bait in maybe one of his other Pokemon and go for a Shadow Ball, because that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to go for Shadow Ball continuously over here, trying to see if he would switch out, or she, into Hippowdon, Garchomp, whatever it may be, and Shadow Ball will do a decent chunk. But Licky is just going to Wish up, Protect, and then I guess Wish up again, because that's, I guess, the smart thing to do, because it can take a Fire move, and whatever it switches into, it will gain the Wish back and hopefully take another Shadow Ball. That's the plan for, I guess, Konan. So Shadow Ball again goes for the Wish again, and I'm locked into this because I am Choice Specs Blacephalon. So knowing that, I know that this Shadow Ball is going to hurt whatever this Licky goes in. Unless they're just going to continuously stay in, then I'm like, alright, fine, I'll try a different way to break through, maybe like Mega Lopunny or something. But I'm hoping that they switch out. And they do, and they brought in Hippowdon, and that is beautiful damage on the Hippowdon, hopefully putting it in range for Mega Lopunny, because Mega Lopunny can go in once Hippowdon is weakened. So, judging from the range Hippowdon was at, I was hoping that maybe they would stay in, thinking that they would live, but it will definitely knock it out, because Hippowdon came in at full, and it almost knocked it out from full. So, yeah, they make the safe switching into Licky, and they probably know I'm Choice Specs now, so they know that they could easily just stall my PP from Shadow Ball because I can't switch up moves. So I'm gonna bring in Lopunny as they go for a Wish, and Lopunny, you know, obviously is gonna be going for the high jump kick, but I do have Power Up Punch, and I'm gonna try and pup this whatever they switch into, but they're gonna go for Protect, thinking that I'm probably gonna go for high jump kick, and then if I go for high jump kick and they Protect, I crash and lose 50% of my HP. So I'm not gonna do that. I don't really have to as well, since Licky isn't really that big of a threat versus my Mega Lopunny, so I could just pup again. And I doubt they would stay in as well. But they actually make a nice call going into Infernape. Expect me not to want to go for that jump kick. I thought they'd maybe want to go into Hippowdon. So Infernape does scare me because it could have Mach Punch or be Choice Scarf, and Choice Scarf does outspeed Mega Lopunny, so I'm just going to make the safe call into Tornadus. Tornadus should be able to live anything. They go for the Fire Punch, and I didn't expect that. I thought they'd go for like a fighting move or maybe a U-turn, expecting Landorus T. So do not want to take that. That Fire Punch can two-shot me, especially if it's Choice Scarf. I wasn't really too sure what kind of damage that is. I don't know if it's Iron Fist or maybe that's just banded damage. Either way, Landorus T is the play. I was thinking since he stayed in against my Torn, it was Choice Scarf, but I was like, man, that did so much damage. I guess that's offensive Torn for you. So gonna go for the U-turn with my Lando, as it's Choice Scarf Lando, obviously. You know, what do you expect? Landorus T, you're usually just gonna be Scarf, you know, bulky or Z move. And Shaman came out, and I brought in Lopunny, and then they brought in Hippowdon on my Lopunny. And Lopunny, unfortunately, is not going to do anything because I didn't put Max Happiness on this Mega Lopunny, and I done goofed. So I was like, dang it, man. I could have maybe two-shotted the Hippowdon, so I go for a jump kick, maybe hoping that they don't go for a slack off, or maybe I can one-shot it, something like that. Unfortunately, it goes for the safe slack off, and I'm like, ah, man, that really sucks. So this is going to be a little bit tougher to break through with this Mega Lopunny, since return isn't powerful enough to, you know, two-shot it or anything like that. So going to go into Torn, as Torn is going to be, like I said, Flying EMZ, and Hippowdon just goes for a Toxic. That really sucks. Usually Hippowdon don't have much to touch any flying types. Usually they would have like Slack Off, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, and Whirlwind. This one does, though, so it has Toxic. Puts my Torn on the timer, but that's totally fine because I do have Regenerator, and I could switch around, get some HP back. So, gonna clap this Hippowdon with the Flying EMZ. I was hoping that they wouldn't see this coming, especially since they're switching to a special attacker, Licky, and they saw that I have Focus Blast, and maybe they don't want to take a Focus Blast, predicting the switching. So, Hippowdon gets clapped by that Fly Z, and it's gonna go down. So that is very nice for me. Getting rid of that. That means Mega Lopunny can hopefully just knock things out with high jump kick freely. So in comes Garchomp. I can't knock Garchomp out in one shot, so I'm going to switch out. Torn is pretty nice versus their team. It is my switch into Shaman too, so I'm going to bring in Landorus T, as Landorus T is just going to intimidate, and this turns out to be Mega Garchomp. So that's pretty dang cool. Mega Garchomp in the sand is one powerful Pokemon as well. I love using Mega Garchomp, actually. It hits like a truck. Z-move Garchomp as well. It's so fun to use. If you haven't used it, Rock EMC, Stone Edge, Swords Dance, it just clicks those buttons and you just get a KO or two. Like, there's not much that can switch in on it, especially Mega Garchomp. Once you Swords Dance up, it has so much attack. So I go for the U-turn, expecting them to want to switch out. Iron Tail did a decent chunk, but luckily I lived that, since that is a defensive Scarf Landorus, like almost max HP and a lot of defense. So yeah, they brought in Licky, I brought in Mega Lopunny, and I'm just gonna try and Power Punch up over here, and Licky takes that obviously pretty well, and I'm scared if I jump kicking it because I don't want to crash and fall and lose 50% of my HP. So they wished up. They're gonna go into Garchomp, which is fine. I go for return because I expect to protect, and also just maybe it would do a decent chunk to whatever, but it actually does nothing because I'm not max happiness. You need to be max happiness for maximum damage on return. Go for a jump kick at +1. Unfortunately, the Garchomp lives on a sliver, but luckily he didn't go for Earthquake and went for Dragon Claw. I don't know if they have Earthquake or not, but that would have knocked me out. Dragon Claw doesn't, so bless. And I'm able to keep my Mega Lopunny and knock out the Garchomp. So in comes Infernape. I don't want to lose my Mega Lopunny since I can still high jump kick his team. And I have a pretty nice switch in, which is Tapu Fini, since I'm guessing this Infernape is just Choice Scarf, and I could probably easily switch in Tapu Fini on this. And Tapu Fini does bait into Shaman, or maybe even Manaphy as well. But I have switch ins to those guys, so I'm not too worried about it. He goes for the Fire Punch, that barely does anything, and yeah, he can't burn me either because I missed a train. So, in comes Shaman. I pull a switch out into Blacephalon, predicting him to want to switch because I need to get some momentum over here, and I need to start knocking out some Pokemon. I can't let him just, you know, switch around, maybe Synthesis up with a Shaman, stuff like that. And plus, Shaman could even have Hidden Power Fire, which could be scary for my Ferrothorn too. Especially, it could bait in maybe a Ferrothorn and help Manaphy sweeping. So, I'm locked into Flamethrower. He goes on Manaphy. I don't want to stay in because I don't want to lose my Blacephalon, and I go into Ferrothorn as he actually switches out into Licky right there. Nice play. Probably expect me to want to switch out, obviously. I'm not going to stay in on Manaphy with my Flamethrower locked to Blacephalon. He is actually in range, though, of a Power Whip, and this Licky is going to go down to my Power Whip. What pretty nice that I didn't miss right there. And Licky which is up, so it can bring back some HP to potentially Manaphy or Infernape. Decides to bring in Infernape, which is smart because Infernape needs that HP back. But honestly, I was like, I'm pretty sure I still win versus the Manaphy if I, sack Ferrothorn. I didn't really need Ferrothorn, and plus, if he hits me, he goes down to Iron Barb. So I kind of want Infernape to go down and not get the wish, and I'd rather sack my Ferrothorn to the Infernape and let my other Pokemon deal with the Manaphy since they're faster, like Lopunny, High Jump Kick, stuff like that. And plus, I can Fake Out too. Well, actually, I don't have Fake Out, do I? On this Lopunny. Either way, Ferrothorn actually pulls out the win. Yeah, I do have Fake Out on this Mega Lopunny. And, yeah, lived that close combat, which is really nice. That defense on the Ferrothorn really mattered a lot. A little bit of defense. And then Manaphy can't knock me out in a Power Whip, so Ferrothorn, not bad. The MVP, I would say, of this game. Also, maybe Tornadus a little bit as well, and Blacephalon, because Tornadus knocked out that annoying Hippowdon, and Blacephalon did some work as well, like pressuring their team. Putting on a lot of pressure with the choice specs. Mega Lopunny could have definitely been the MVP, but Mega Lopunny, I just didn't have max happiness, and unfortunately I don't have max happiness versus Kelvin over here as well, the next battle. But I think I didn't get a chance to change it, so I still battled with it. I mean, High Jump Kick's still powerful, and yeah, Power Up Punch as well. So Kelvin got Mega Glalie, I'm guessing, because what else would a regular Glalie be doing? And then Volcarona, which Volcarona is very scary versus my team. I gotta really play around that with Tapu Fini and Mega Lopunny like Fake Outs. So those are probably the two biggest threats versus my team. Mega Glalie, I love using that. So let's just get right into the battle. Mega Glalie could run special or physical. Me personally, I like to run physical more because it just hits harder. You have Earthquake, you have Return, and maybe you can run mixed as well with Freeze Dry. It does have access to spikes as well. I remember I used to ran Mega Glalie back in the beginning of Gen 7. I really liked it a lot because of that instant Mega Evolution you get. So he let off a Rotom, I let off Tapu Fini, get that Mist Train up. It's always smart to get that Mist Train off so that you don't get like status and stuff like that. And he Volt Switches right into Volcarona as I brought in Ferrothorn, and that's a smart man because Volcarona, he sees that it does a lot of work versus my team. So I'm going to switch out back to Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini does have the Taunt and the Nature's Madness. He goes straight for the Quiver Dance. I mean, pretty safe versus Ferrothorn. I'm not going to Thunder Wave and Mist Train or anything like that. And Ferrothorn don't have much else to hit Volcarona. So just going to bring in Tapu Fini. And yeah, just going to go for a Nature's Madness as they go for a Fiery Dance. And that kind of scared me at first because then that would have meant that usually Fiery Dance Volcaronas are bulky. And then when they have a bulk, they're usually Roost and they have leftovers. So that really scared me, but luckily I didn't see leftovers, and they go for the Bug EMZ, so I was like, phew, okay, that's really good for me, because that means they can't Roost up and potentially take my Fake Outs with Mega Lopunny, because I could literally just lose to this Volcarona straight off the bat if it was a bulky Volcarona. Those guys are scary. Luckily that's not the case. So gonna be able to go for Scald and live the Bug EMZ and weaken the Volcarona to the point where hopefully a Fake Out will knock it out and I don't get Flame Body burned, because Volcarona, they like to run Flame Body sometimes, and whenever you touch it, it just magically gets burned, even though it's only 30% to get burnt. So down goes Fini, which sucks, but it's for the greater cause to not lose the Volcarona. And he actually switched out Volcarona into Lander's T, so I was really surprised by that. I thought they would just, like, double down and maybe hope for a Flame Body, but it also makes sense since it is they're switching to Ferrothorn, kinda-ish, and they can maybe set up opportunity again and get another kill. So, learns that this Lander's T is going to be Rocky Helmet as I fake it out and take a lot of shit from that. So I'm going to switch into Tornadus. Once I see Rocky Helmets, I'm not really too scared of it. I can easily switch into Tornadus. I'm not scared of Fly EMZ or Stone Edge, or maybe it could be Explosion Rocky Helmet, but I doubt it. And I'm free to just go for the Defog over here. And Rotom, I'm not too scared of it either, because I know I can live an electric move unless it's Electric EMZ, but nobody runs that. Most of them are just like, the Super Berry or Pinch Berry and leftovers. So he actually turns out to be Choice Scarf. I went for the knockoff just to get rid of whatever item Rotom has. I like to do that with Torn because Torn, like I said, lives a hit and just gets rid of an item. So yeah, turns out Choice Scarf goes into Tapu Koko and I get rid of Tapu Koko's Choice Specs. And I was like, oh, that is some power. That could do a lot of damage to my team, especially if he gets the calls right. So I go to Ferrothorn, as Ferrothorn is a pretty nice switch into Tapu Koko, unless they're Hidden Power Fire, but nobody really runs that. They're most likely Hidden Power Ice. But he could be Hidden Power Fire Choice Specs to catch a Ferrothorn. But yeah, he brought in the Volcarona. I'm not going to allow my Ferrothorn as my probably only switch into Tapu Koko. I mean, Landers can switch in, but Hidden Power Ice, I don't want to take that. So I brought in Blacephalon. I kind of called the Fiery Dance as well. I don't think he would Quiver Dance up in front of my Ferrothorn where it could easily knock him out from the range he's at. And luckily, Blacephalon is faster than Volcarona naturally, and I'm able to knock him out as he actually brought in Dragonite. So Dragonite, I do want to break its multi-skill, so I do just stay in, and plus I don't want him to just set up in front of me. So Specs Blacephalon at +1 brings it down to half, which is very nice. And then he goes for the Ice Punch, which really surprised me. I guess he is banded judging on the damage as well, and he predicted my Landers Teeth to want to come out. So pretty nice for me as I'm able to just go for another Shadow Ball. I mean, Dragonite could have Extreme Speed, but I'm immune to that because I'm a Ghost type, and I think he's banded. So yeah, he sacked him right there, pretty nice, and now I'm at +2, but he is going to bring in Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko is naturally faster than me. Unfortunately, I'm not Choice Scarf, but if it was Choice Scarf, I wouldn't be hitting as hard with the Choice Specs, so it's a double-edged sword sometimes. Anyways, I have Ferrothorn, which is always a nice switch into Tapu Koko, unless they have Nature Madness too. I forgot to mention that as well. They could Nature's Madness. And bring in Landers T, as Landers T doesn't scare me too much since I know it's Rocky Helmets. I mean, I guess it could be Hidden Power Fire. Funny enough, my Landers has Hidden Power Fire in its Choice Scarf too, so I guess this team struggles with a little bit of Ferrothorn and Scizor. So, anyways, I go for Stealth Rocks. We trade Rocks right there, and that's fine with me. It doesn't really matter too much for him since he lost his Volcarona. It would have mattered more if he had still had Volcarona, but he just sent that right out and just started going in with it. So I go for Leech Seed as Ferrothorn isn't really too scared of Landers, like I said, unless Hidden Power Fire, but I mean, he's Rocky Helmet, and I can just Leech Seed and probably gain all the HP back. So he's probably going to be struggling with the Ferrothorn over here. He can't really break through it, so he's going to switch out his Tapu Koko into Dragonite. Dragonite does have access to Fire Punch in his move slot. I just go for a Power Whip, just trying to knock out the Tapu Koko, potentially. So I am going to switch out Ferrothorn over here because I don't want to lose it to a potential Fire Punch Dragonite and go into my Landers T, as Landers T should be able to easily take any hit, Intimidate, and be faster. So he actually goes for Earthquake, so I'm pretty happy about that. He doesn't have Fire Punch, and that could chip away and maybe potentially burn my Landers T. And I get some switch initiative over here with Landers. I go for Hidden Power Fire. Too bad I'm not Hidden Power Ice, because then I would be able to two-shot his Landers potentially. I do get a crit with the Hidden Power Fire though, which is nice, but I'm going to switch out because his could be Hidden Power Fire. I mean Hidden Power Ice, so I'm going to switch back into Ferrothorn. And Ferrothorn could easily just take anything his Lando wants to go for. So he actually goes for the Defog. I guess he doesn't want the rocks up for his Dragonite, which is smart because he wants to probably bring that boy in. But I can get them right back up pretty nicely. But he goes into Glalie. So Glalie could be pretty problematic if it is Hidden Power Fire. He does kind of struggle, like I said, with Ferrothorn with his team, so I was guessing maybe it could be, but at the same time I want to see and scout because most Mega Glalies aren't, so we'll see. He does go for Freeze Dry, which kind of worried me because then he might be special attacking and have Hidden Power Fire. Imagine that. You shouldn't be playing a drinking game for every time I say Hidden Power Fire. But yeah, I go for Leech Seed as Ferrothorn. I know I can take the HP Fire, so that's why I did that. And yeah, I can pivot around. I go into Blacephalon just as a sack, and maybe if he goes for a Spike or something like that, but oh well. Alas, Blacephalon doesn't take the Freeze Dry, so gonna bring in my Lopunny over here, and Lopunny is pretty free to just go for I think a return. I go for it because his Landers is low enough to the point where a non-max happiness return should be able to two-shot, and does take a little bit more chip with that Rocky Helmet, so that kind of sucks. But that's fine because, you know, I two-shot the Landers, and maybe he's trying to put me in range for Ice Shard with his Mega Glalie. He could have Ice Shard and Mega Glalie, but I don't know. He could be mixed. So in comes Tapu Koko. I know that I naturally outspeed this, but I don't knock him out with my return. From that first battle, I realized that. So I know that I can't just stay in here. And also I'm -1 attack, so maybe he could live regular return with max happiness. So I bring in Ferrothorn, and he switches back into Glalie, and yeah, he doesn't have, like I said, too much for Ferrothorn, so I can just stay in here pretty freely, unless he's been keeping the Hidden Power Fire. But he goes for return, so I'm guessing he just mixed with Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry to hit the Pelipper's, you know, Water types, Tapu Fini, stuff like that. So he's probably just like mostly attack. And as you can see, that return does nothing, and he forfeits because there's not much else he can do versus Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn just kind of cleanly walls everything, Leech Seeds. I have rocks up, so Dragonite's dead. And yeah, that's going to be it. So Kelvin just forfeited, like I said. So that is going to be it for the battles today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And Ferrothorn is probably the MVP for these games. Ferrothorn, I love that mon very much. And hopefully we get some Gen 8 news here soon, because I don't know, I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about that kind of stuff. So yeah, Ferrothorn's also good in Ubers as well. I really like it a lot, especially defensive. It's just an annoying mon to play against. That's why you see a lot of Magnet Pull or a little hidden text for Ferrothorn, or just overwhelming offense to just break through it. So see you guys in the next video. Peace.